enjoy some gaming. Chill out and stop the flaming. When work's been tough, stressful and draining, enjoy some Baverhoid gaming. Whoa, oh, Baverhoid gaming.
Hello guys and welcome back for another video of me, but not playing, because this time I will actually do my tier rating of factions in Company of Heroes 2. So now that I've played a few games and uploaded them to YouTube and also showed my leaderboard stats, you know that I've been playing this game a while. I'm not, like compared to some users, for example, COH2, the one that gave me tips and tricks, helped me learn in the second last game I played. He had like, what did he say? 9,000 hours or something played, which is an insane amount. I do not have that amount of hours played, not even remotely that number. My win rate is about 50% in most matches, most matchup styles. So I'm not in any way an elite player. I'm not even an advanced player. I'm more of maybe an intermediate player, depending on who's analyzing, I guess. But I do not consider myself to being a complete beginner, because I played this game a lot. Even though I might not have been using all the tools for my advantage, I got a pretty decent grip of the game, know what to do in most circumstances. But of course, as I said, I'm not in the top tier. So I just want to put that out there before any one of you guys get mad at me for doing this tier list, because you're going to be like, no, that's completely wrong. How can you put that faction in the S tier? It's not even close to being S tier. But then just remind yourselves, I'm not an elite player. This is not this is no tournament rating for factions. Like obviously a lot of you guys know more than me. You've played more than me. You know every commander, every play style on different maps, different like when you should buy this and that, how much fuel you will have at that point, so many minutes into the game, and so forth. I don't have that information. That's fine. This is just my personal tier list now of the factions. So I'm gonna try to explain why I give them the rating I give them. But yeah, there will always be counter arguments against my arguments. So this is just my take on stuff. This might change in the future when I get better at the game. I've gotten a load of tips lately that's been very useful and will probably make me a better player. So maybe with those tips and even more tips in the future, more playing, I'm gonna we'll have to come back to this tier list, change it a little bit maybe. Maybe I will have to change it completely. We will see. But let's begin. So I'm gonna start with one of the most basic factions, right? Because all of you guys maybe don't have all the factions, because some of them are DLC, right? At least they were from the start, I think. So a lot of them is behind paid content. So maybe you only have like the Wehrmacht and the Soviets. So let's begin with them. So I'm thinking like the Soviets, right? Where are they supposed to be placed in this list? So before I start, I just want to say that all of these factions that exist in the game, they are good. They are good, and they are good in different ways. So they are all playable. I will like as you can see here, I've rated stuff here with like the best of the best is holy fuck, and the second best is pretty fucking good. Middle is like all right. Uh, when it's not that good, nah, fam, nah. And in the last place is no way, dude. So I don't think I'm gonna place any faction in the no way, dude. But if I would have to place these guys in an order, I would place some in no way, dude. So I might do that in the end of the video. Just place them if I had to, like it's like when you're like marry, fuck, kill, and then it's like someone's like, okay, marry, fuck, kill. So it's your parents and your fucking brothers, and you're like, every option is bad. I don't want to do this. Then they're like, you have to do it, or I'll fucking choke you out tonight. You will die, bro. And then you just do it, and all decisions are bad. So in that case, I would put something last. I would put something second last. But in this case, I probably won't, because I think every faction is good, and they're good in different ways. So let's get to it. The Soviets. What kind of rating do I want to give the Soviets? So the Soviets is a pretty straightforward faction. You don't need to do any base upgrades. You only need to buy the next building, right? So you'll just have to gather the fuel, the manpower, and build the buildings in sequence. You have to make a choice between the first two buildings, like the weapon support Campanella or whatever it's called, and the other one where you can build like snipers, penal battalions, and scout cars. So they can have, you have a little different kind of choice there in the early game if you want to go for more like static, weapon team, anti-tank guns combined with mortars and machine guns, or if you want to go with the penal battalions, which is more mobile, more aggressive, the scout car and the sniper. That's a more aggressive early game play style. Yeah, so, and like the second building where they get some vehicles, you will get the T-70 light tank, you will get the half track. Let's see, there's something I'm forgetting there. T-70, yeah, you get the SU something, the fixed gun carriage, where it's like it can barrage for free, but it has a cooldown. And it acts like a weak anti-tank kind of thing there. Doesn't do a lot of damage against infantry unless you barrage. Then it's like okay. And last, you have like the building where you can build tanks. And the tanks, T-34, the basic T-34, the Katusha, and the SU-175 might not be the right name. I can't remember the exact name, but it's a tank destroyer with a good range. It has a good pierce. It does a lot of damage. Obviously, it's the bad thing with it. It's that it's also a fixed gun, so it can only shoot in front of itself, which makes it really easy to outmaneuver. Yeah. So what more is there to say about them? They have conscripts, of course. They have engineers as well. The conscripts is very versatile. There's a lot of commanders that play into the conscripts. They can be upgraded with anti-tank grenades, Molotovs, very useful against the infantry and buildings. And when I say buildings, I mean the buildings you can occupy. They're not as useful against bunkers that you build, but they are useful against most buildings, especially wooden buildings, of course, because they can catch fire. Yeah, they can build sandbags. They can merge with weapons team to make them go up to full strength. Have full squad membership or squad membership, whatever, gym membership. No, but they are very versatile, very useful. Depending on the commander you choose, they can be equipped with PPS Aegis. They can get the hit the dirt ability. They can repair stuff. Of course, it all depends on the commander, but they're good as a basic unit. And they can get upgraded with a veteran squad leader, where they get like increased squad size, decreased replenishment cost. They get increased veterancy gain, and of course, having another squad member is not wrong, because then they can take a lot more damage, deal more damage, and so forth. So I don't want to take the commanders too much into account, because that would take a lot of time. So I'll maybe just mention a few commanders. I'm not actually gonna name a few commanders, because I can't remember their names. Sometimes I remember their names, but sometimes I'll just have to explain around them what they contain. But through some commanders, like just the basic Soviet is a very good faction. Why is it a good faction? Because it's so basic and all-rounded, and the squad sizes are big, so they can take a lot of damage. They have a lot of staying power. Their anti-tank gun is so strong. I think COH2 said that it was possibly one of the best anti-tank guns in the game, considering it has the barrage ability as well, which it makes it very useful. They have a lot of it's easy to get going with them with this faction, because they got the conscripts in the headquarters, and then from like weapon support campania you can get like a machine gun, mortars, and as I said, anti-tank gun pretty early. So they are very versatile. They can cover a lot of roles. They can push, they can defend. And if you throw in some commanders into the mix where you boost your conscripts, or maybe get some more heavier tank like the IS-2, or like the ISU, what's it called, the super heavy anti-tank tank hunter, whatever it's called. Yeah, and they have like the Sturmovik circling around as well. You can get artillery, like barrages and stuff, and yeah, they are very good. You can get the Guards Riflemen, which are okay. They are complementary force to your tanks, because they can what's it called? They have this ability when you're equipping them with the DP rifles, the light machine guns. They can actually pin a vehicle, or at least slow it, which is very useful in case you want to pin an enemy tank and stop it from retreating, so you can kill it before it retreats and repairs. So where would I place these guys? I would probably place them like somewhere up here. Holy fuck, and pretty fucking good. They have the shock troops in some commanders, and they are a superb shock troop. They are so extremely strong in close quarter combat. They can wipe out units in a matter of seconds. Like you can't. Sometimes you don't even have the time to blink, and your squad is wiped out. You're like, fuck. What was that? Oh, it was the shock troops. Okay, but they are commander bound, so I'm gonna just not weighing the commanders in too much. I'm gonna place them on pretty fucking good, because they are pretty fucking good. I mean, as I said, they have a lot of combat members. Their things are pretty cheap. They're pretty versatile, all their units. But like the T-34, maybe it doesn't have the most damage. Maybe it doesn't have the most armor. Not the most speed, mobility, and so forth. But it works very well against a lot of other tanks. Their tank counter, their basic tank counter, like in the last building, is also very useful. If it's supported by T-34, their anti-tank gun is very useful. They are very they are cost efficient, a very cost efficient faction. That's like probably one of the most important things to remember. They are very cost efficient and very versatile, so they are like up here. But they're maybe not the most elite in some senses, depending on. Like they are most elite in the shock troops, maybe, but yeah. As I said, that's more of a commander, which is like There's so many commanders to cover, so I won't be able to do that. But they will be placed in the pretty fucking good bracket here. So, what about the Wehrmacht? What about the Wehrmacht? The Wehrmacht is also pretty fucking good, to be honest. They have a lot of different commanders, different playstyles, but if we boil it down to their basic senses, in their headquarters, instead of a conscript squad, they can buy instantly an MG42, which is probably the amongst the best machine guns. Like in the role of a machine gun only for suppressing, it's probably the best. It has the quickest rate of fire. It has the best traverse, I believe. I can't remember seeing anything better. I've seen equal traverse, gun traverse. You know, the cone of fire is what I'm talking about, but probably not better. Not anything better. Damage-wise, of course, it won't stand its ground against like the Dusk or like the 50 cal machine gun. But it's a very good for pinning. It can be when it reaches rank veterancy rank 1, you can activate incendiary rounds, which actually makes it decently potent against half tracks and maybe T70s like light tanks, the Stuart, maybe not the Stuart, but at least the T70, probably the Stuart a little bit. But of course, it's very easy to avoid a machine gun using incendiary rounds. So as soon as they notice you using them, they will pull out. But it's a tool. It's a tool, right? What more do they have? In their first building, in the Kampfgruppe or whatever it's called, I can't remember the names. Yeah, they have the Volksgrenadiers, 4 squad members, can be equipped with the MG42 once you escalate to battle phase 2, I believe it is. Maybe it's 1, but I think it's 2. Probably 2. Escalate to battle phase 2. So when they're upgraded, they're a good squad. They got the rifle grenade, which is good. It's actually really good because it increases the reach of the grenade, which makes them very potent to flank a machine gun, actually. Because sometimes you notice you walk into the range of a machine gun with 2 squads, you have them apart. The one squad is starting to get pinned. You realize this is happening. You notice that, oh, I won't be able to walk out of the cone of fire before the other one gets suppressed as well. So I'm gonna get fucked. Then you just quickly put a rifle grenade on the machine gun team. Most often you manage to pop the gunner with the machine gun team, maybe take 2 or 3 members out, right? Which will give your units a little bit more time to crawl out of the cone of fire, maybe flank. So it's good, like you don't have to walk up as close to throw something, because that can be dangerous. Maybe the enemy you wanna attack a weapon team or something, but they have it's supported by a shock troop or whatever. You don't wanna get close. They have a tank or whatever, but you do wanna do some damage to pick away at their squad members, their health and their capabilities just by doing that. So the rifle grenade is very useful. They also have the Panzerschreck, which is a very, very efficient, very cost-efficient anti-vehicle weapon. It's like a one-time bazooka, if you want to call it that. It often does a little bit of damage on all vehicles except heavy tanks. And it has a pretty high chance to actually disable a vehicle's engine, which makes them a lot slower. Which can be it's a lot of people forget this, so they have their tank a lot too much forward, but they think they're safe because they're out of bounds from the enemy's anti-tank. But then they are actually close enough for your infantry to bust a fucking Panzerfaust up their assholes, blow that engine, and then they will close in on your tank and destroy the tank with their anti-tank. So and a few Panzerfausts fired in a rapid session by like 4 squads or something can kill a light tank, can kill a half track. So I can't remember the cost of firing one. I think it's like in between 25 to 35 munition, so it's fairly cheap, but it's not. So it's not for free, but it's a useful tool. So they also have the mortars in the same building there as the Volksgrenadiers, and they have the snipers as well. Yeah, so that's that. In the next building, they have the PaK 43 anti-tank gun, which is good. It also has, I believe, it has the heated round, heat shot when it gets enough veterancy. They have the half track. They have the scout car. Sorry, do not know what this alarm is for. Whatever. Okay. Yeah, and I forgot to mention they have the Panzer Grenadiers in their headquarters as well, but they show up when you escalate to Battle Phase 1, I believe. And they can be equipped with Panzerschrecks, which are very good against vehicles. Very good. They have a good like pierce, so they do a lot of damage against a lot of vehicles. Of course, heavy tanks are usually like some. In a lot of cases, heavy tanks just tank stuff. It's like they don't even take damage in some cases, which is pretty fucking annoying. But so if you like shoot a rocket like a bazooka, a Panzerschreck, a Panzerfaust, sometimes it fizzles away. I don't know what happens, but yeah. In their third building, they have the Panzer IV tank, which can be upgraded with a machine gun turret. They have the Stuk, which is like fixed medium tank support gun carriage. The Ostwind as well, right? In the last building, they get their Panther, they get their Raketenwerfer, they get their Brummbär, which is like the Brummbär is like a fucking also a assault support tank, whatever it's called. It's like anti-infantry, anti-building shoots like a howitzer round almost. Huge blow potential. Not as deadly as the Churchill AVRE or like the what's fucking is it called the Storm Tiger? No, the fucking big one that the Oberkommando West has, where it's like a huge reload time, shoots a massive rocket or something. Yeah, so it's not as strong as them, but the reload time is not that long. So the Wehrmacht as a faction, they are versatile as well. Their squad numbers are lower than the Soviets. They don't have the same merging abilities where like a conscript can like merge to a weapon squad. Yeah, so like a support team or something. Commander wise, they have a lot of good commanders. They can get Tiger tanks. They can get Sturmtruppen, is that their name? Something like that. They can get like airstrikes, of course, artillery as well. They can get a variant of Panzer IV tank. This is all through commanders, though. Just important to remember. They can get like some assault grenadiers and other stuff. Feels like I'm not remembering something important, but they are fairly decent. They're good. They're good. They are not fairly decent. They're actually good. But as I said, it all depends. It all depends on. They can use Ostruppen. I've used a lot of Ostruppen lately, and of course it works. It works. It's a cheap unit. It's just a filler unit. Cap territories, defend, maybe equip weapon team equipment. You know, like capture machine guns, capture mortars, capture anti-tank guns. Just to have like a cheap squad where we can replenish for just 16 manpower. but they are a commander. So just thinking of the basic Wehrmacht, they have a good they have a good amount of decent to very good vehicles. The Raketenwerfer is like good for suppressing infantry, killing infantry, but it doesn't have the same kill potential as the Katusha. It doesn't do almost nearly as much damage as the Katusha does, or like the Sherman Calliope, also a commander tank. Just important to remember. So it's a rocket artillery, but it's not that good though. Well, not that good, not that good. It can be good in certain situations. It can hurt their squad numbers and so forth, but you can't rely on it to actually kill stuff always. Like sometimes you put down the barrage, unfortunately they just suppress a little bit, but they don't kill a lot of squad members. So in some cases, I've had two enemy, probably in some of my videos actually, but I had like two enemy anti-tank guns like this close, drop the barrage on them, kill like maybe one member each in each weapon team. They were Soviet anti-tank guns, so they have 6 members, which is a lot. So they are hard to kill, but still, where Katusha in the same place will probably at least kill half the squads in like both teams at least. If they stay there too long, all of them would be dead when the Katusha strike, because it strikes like a burst, where the Raketenwerfer is like, and then it's like fucking rains down everything at the same time, which might be the plus side with it. It's very fast. It's harder to avoid, right? Because it's very fast, but it does less damage. So these guys, Panther tanks, medium. No, it's like a very mobile, very good armored, very well equipped tank. Super good. Expensive in fuel though, but it's very versatile. The Panzer IV, fairly expensive in fuel. I mean, like compared to the T-34, who is like, is it 100 fuel or is it 90? I can't exactly remember, but it's a lot cheaper. And sometimes the T-34 can actually, write me if I'm wrong. Write me if I'm wrong. Write in the comments or whatever. But I think they are almost equivalent in battle strength, the Panzer IV and the T-34, depending on veterancy, of course, and yeah, and sometimes who hits first. Yeah, and it's a little bit RNG based as well, of course. So this is probably the faction. Wehrmacht is probably the faction I have the most win rate in, right? But I'm actually gonna put them on all roids. And if anyone gets mad at that, that's okay. You can keep it to yourself. You don't have to write. It's okay. But of course, I did not cover all the commanders. This is just my opinion. They are good, but compared to the Soviets, I feel like the Soviets are actually stronger than the Wehrmacht faction. This is what I feel right now. So I'm gonna leave it at that of these two factions. That covers the basic factions that everyone has. Now I'm gonna go over to my probably my favorite faction, Oberkommando West. Probably my favorite faction. So they build headquarter cars that they can place their headquarters around on the battlefield in friendly territory. So they can place a forward station where they have like medics. You can replenish lost forces. You can put a retreat point, so it's pretty good. They have the Storm Pioneers, which are very expensive manpower-wise, but pretty strong engineer squad. Pretty strong. And depending on commander, you can equip it with flamethrowers. And you can equip it with a combat package always, which gives them a Panzerschreck. I've spoken against this before, but it's a good resort if you're out of anti-tank options and you're maybe mid-game and you don't have a lot of Raketenwerfers and they show up with some half-tracks or whatever. Maybe you should equip them. I don't know. They have Volksgrenadiers. Is that their name? Volksgrenadiers? Yeah, I think this is the same name as the Wehrmacht. They're good. They can be equipped with 2 STG-44 rifles, but they only have bolt-action rifles in basic equipped, their basic equipment. They can have incendiary grenades once you build like the first your first new headquarter building, like the medic building or whatever. You choose to mechanized support or whatever. Yeah. They have the MG34 machine gun, which has a lesser fire rate than the MG42, but it's still good. Raketenwerfer 43. I think this is a very good anti-tank option. Sometimes though, against heavier tanks, it can be. I've thought about this lately. It can be less strong. It can be weaker than some packs or whatever, because they seem to have more pierce, at least more flat damage or whatever. I don't know, but it seems like they get in more shots that actually do damage than the Raketenwerfer. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm right. I'm not sure. Just gonna finish my coffee here. So let's see. They got in their medic quarters. What do they have? Let's see if I can remember. They do have the artillery, the LG, whatever it's called. It's like a light artillery gun, 7.5 centimeters, something, can put smoke rounds, can barrage. It's a little bit more effective than a mortar. It has a far longer range. It's a very good artillery. They have this half track that can like scan territories. I haven't seen a lot of people use that, but it can like show you in the fog of war where units are. What more do they have in the medic station? Feels like I'm forgetting something. What the fuck am I forgetting? Well, okay. Let's move on. Their mechanized building, they can get the Lux and the Puma. And in the mechanized, they can also get the walking Stuka, which is super strong rocket artillery. It places rockets in a line. Super duper explosive rockets that does a huge amount of damage to a lot of things. Very useful, and it can be placed so it drops down from one side. It drops down first and then ends in the other side of the line that you place. You can place it however you want to. So maybe you have infantry advancing against you. You put the bombing from behind their backs, facing towards you. So when they notice they're getting bombed, they retreat, and they retreat into the bombing, right? If they don't have like a very responsive player that manages to, in the fucking seconds they have, go to the sides and avoid. But against grouped infantry, it is super effective. So, and in their last mechanized building, okay, wait, the mechanized building they have, first and foremost, I just need to mention that it can be equipped with like a repair squad who just stands there. They're tied to the building, but if you come close with vehicles, they will repair it automatically. You don't even have to do anything about that. So they can be equipped with that, which is nice actually. I like that. Lastly, their last building is like, it's like a flak cannon, like an anti-aircraft cannon building, which has a long range and like burst damage. Does damage against light vehicles, some tanks, depending on their armor. Pins down infantry really good. Yeah, so it can like, I don't want to say cap points, but it can suppress points, suppress areas for you, defend areas for you from the enemies coming and taking them, which can be very useful. Or they can just act as a like a back line, like a last line of defense. If you need to fall back maybe to your medic headquarters, you have this placed close by. So if they try to hunt you and attack your damaged units near your medic quarters, it will automatically attack them closing in and maybe saving your hurt units, because otherwise they might have been like blown up. Also, it can be, if you click a button, it can actually target flying like airplanes hovering over the battlefield. So it can intercept like some sort of hovering attacks, maybe the rocket, the Thunderbolt rocket aircraft strike, whatever it's called, that the Americans have, where they hover around. It can shoot down the planes, which is good if you remember to use it. In that building, you get the Panther. You also get Panzer IV, but it's upgraded with a little bit more armor. You have the like the, what are they called? Like super soldaten or something. Like it's a very strong infantry, 4-man infantry squad that can be equipped with MG34 machine gun, and it has bundle grenade, and I believe it also has booby trap point. I think so. Maybe it's depending on the commander, but I think they are one of the few units that always has it. They're strong. So this faction is very versatile. Of course, they have good anti-tank. They have good infantry. They have good artillery as well, with the 7.5 centimeter artillery gun. They have good tanks. They are... See, they have good rocket artillery, very good rocket artillery. What more? Some of their commanders give them new units, like the Panzerfusiliers, which can be equipped with G43 rifles, or like Panzerschrecks. They are good as well. You can get the Fallschirmjäger, which is so fucking good. Like their rate of fire, their abilities, that they can be deployed from building ambient buildings in the fog of war everywhere on the map. It's pretty fucking strong. But that's commander wise. So what I do not like with this faction is that I feel like they're a bit fucking slow to get to the tanks, the good tanks. It's an expensive ride. They need to build a lot of headquarters first. Like they need to build at least one headquarter before building the last one, where you can get your best tanks. And before you can get your best tanks, you need a Panzer authorization, which unlocks the flak cannon on that building, makes it that it can shoot at all. Like otherwise, it's just not active. And then you can get the tanks, and they are very expensive. It's like 120 fuel or 185 fuel or something like that for the Panzer and the Panther. So that's the problem with them. But they're mid with the walking Stuka. Their mid game is fairly strong, and they can make use of what they have to try to overcome their disadvantages, being that they have such a late game with their tanks. So that's that, and they're like it's a double-edged sword being able to place your headquarters as well, because they can be targeted and destroyed. Your units that have retreated there can be barraged by artillery, not even artillery strikes. It can be artillery that you don't even notice before they start bombing, or Katusha, and all your infantry will be wiped out if you're not quick enough to retreat with them back to your own base. And in order to do that, you will have to disable the retreat point on your medic station. So they can be very vulnerable. But if you use this ability to place these things forward into the territories, you can use it to your advantage by meaning that you don't have to retreat as long back. So you can retreat, quickly replenish your forces, heal them up, and fight again. So you're able to push, do quick assaults all the time. So I think that's what you want to do as an Uber Command West player. You want to keep the enemy on their toes. You want to keep them on the more likely keep them on the back foot, keep them always stumbling back. But if you don't manage to do that, it can be harder for you if you've already placed your things forward and invested the fuel and the time to build them there. So if they push you back, they can easily destroy your headquarters, which is bad. So the Oberkommando West can be super good, but it can be countered as well. The Lux tank that they have in the mechanized part, you can get fairly early on, depending on if you rush it or not. If you build the mechanized building first and you rush the Lux, it's a pretty good anti-infantry tank and anti-light vehicle tank. It can't stand against the T-70 though, or like the Stuart, because its gun is too weak. But it can do damage, but it won't win. So these guys are fun to play. They have a lot of different fun stuff, like different commanders that give them fun abilities, like the Goliath, the remote controlled explosive tank, like a suicide bomber. They have the Panzerfusiliers, which are fun. They have the fortifications doctrine, which give your Sturm Pioneers abilities to place flak placements, S-mine fields, tank traps, which is pretty fun if you want to lock down shit. Maybe not the best, I don't know. Yeah, so they have like the Storm. I can never pronounce that, but like the flame doctrine, where you get like the Hetzer flame tank, you get the Flammenwerfers on your Sturm Pioneers. You can upgrade them with that, and you get like a fire barrage ability on your 7.5 centimeter artillery gun. What more do you get? You get fucking MP40 upgrades for your Volksgrenadiers. So it's kind of fun, wild doctrine, wild commander. But I'm actually gonna place these guys in the Allroids bracket. So that might surprise some of you that I didn't place them in the pretty fucking good. But it's they are like, it's, you can make a case for them being in the pretty fucking good, or maybe in the holy fuck. But they maybe this is more fair because they require a lot more skill to make use of all their abilities. They require some ahead thinking, some planning. It requires you to be on defensive a lot, which can be hard for a lot of players to always like keep the momentum going. Like as Colts 44 said, they like snowball a lot. Can never stop snowballing with these guys if you want to keep your advantage. But they have a lot of tools as well. They are good, but they can be a bit slow to get to the tanks, which can be even more of a problem for a new player. So I'm gonna place them in the Allroids bracket. They're all right. Moving on to the US faction. The US faction, they can build riflemen from the start and rear echelon squads. Riflemen is like 5 squad member semi-automatic rifle dudes, 280 manpower. You have the rear echelons, which is like a 4-man squad. I believe it's like 200 manpower, 20 to replenish, blah blah blah. These guys upgrade through building certain squads that can, in their place, be upgraded with like something like a bazooka or a bar. And you need to upgrade. I believe you need to upgrade all these guys in a row. You can't skip like in the Oberkommando West. You have to build the first, the 2 first after. Like you have to build if you can't build the last one before you build the other ones, right? And the last one is the one that contains the tanks, the Sherman, the Jackson tank destroyer, the artillery, the mortar tank, or whatever it's. I can't remember its name, but it's a very good support mortar tank, sorta. Yeah, so their infantry is versatile, very equipable with different stuff. They can always be equipped with a bar or a bazooka if you buy the weapons rack. They can be upgraded with the with a frag grenade. They have this mobile health station that it's like a health car which can heal your troops. They are the last headquarters that they build. They unlock is they get like a 3-squad commander dude that can place like a retreat point. So you can be moved around, place a retreat point. It's not necessarily locked down forever. You can unlock it, move, lock it down again, and just have your medic card there. Then you can replenish your forces in the field, which is very nice, but it's very vulnerable as well because it relies on a 3-man squad. If it gets bombed, you're fucked, right? The medic squad, the medic car is also very vulnerable, very easily destroyed, and fairly slow. But their infantry is pretty good. They have good commanders. They have like the Pershing tank. They can get through a commander, which is a super heavy tank. They can get the Calliope Sherman, which is super duper nice. Anti-infantry, anti-light vehicle kind of rocket barrage, equivalent to the land mattress, but it's a tank. They have the Rangers, they have paratroopers, and I believe like the paratroopers are not necessarily needed to be bought. After you like gotten the faction US, you will have the paratroopers, I believe, and they are very strong because they can deploy like machine guns, anti-tank guns, like drop them down, drop down paratroopers that can be upgraded with Thompsons or like bazookas. They have the Pathfinders with a long like fucking. They can see further than a lot of other squads, so they can scout ahead, make sure there are no suppressing machine guns up close, whatever. Just scout the area. They can put down beacons that let you paratroop things a lot more safely. Because if you paratroop wrong and you land in a tree, that squad member will die. So it's a little bit dangerous, but. And they have the thing with the US is that they have some different like mid-game buildings, right? That you unlock first. One contains a howitzer. One contains anti-tank and a half-track. That's like it's like a flak cannon half-track. But the thing is, it can only shoot in like in all directions except the driver's direction, like in like this. So it got like a wide cone around like this, but just not in the way of the driver. It's super strong. Rapid fire can hurt a lot of light vehicles. It's fast. It shoots while it moves. So it's a very. I see a lot of US players buying that, and Colts44 used that against me in his instruction video. So they have some very good things. They got the Stuart, it's a light tank. It's not that good, I believe. Like maybe it is, but I don't usually buy it. Their infantry is good. They're better when they're equipped, when they're ranked, of course, and when they have some veterancy. But I'm gonna like when you have if you get to learn, like I haven't played them that much, but I think if you get to learn these guys, they are pretty fucking good. They're pretty fucking good. So I'm actually gonna place them on the pretty fucking good bracket because they are up there. You just need to know how to play them, when to buy stuff, what to prioritize. Yeah, versatile, strong. Maybe what they lack in their basic, just the faction, is something, a tank that it's like in between the Sherman and in between the Jackson tank destroyer, like a Panther, right? That's like faster, still has decent armor, still packs a punch in its like cannon. But otherwise, they are pretty versatile and good. So, at last, this leaves us with the British. I haven't played the British that much. They're like it's like me with the US. I haven't played the US that much either, but I probably played the US less than the British, right? Or maybe it is reverse. I don't know. But the British, I believe, is a very strong faction. They can build. Let's see if I remember correctly. They can build uh, machine guns, and their infantry sections from the get-go. Engineers as well. They got two upgrades, just two headquarter upgrades. One which gives you the it's like a 50-50 cal sniper dude, the boys anti-tank rifle sniper. You can upgrade to get the light armored car. You can get fortifications upgrades, so your engineers can build like Bofors emplacements, mortars, anti-tank guns. Oh wait, no, it's only the upgrade is only for the Bofors placement, I believe. Everything else you already can build from the get-go with your engineers, I think. What more can you build in that building? Medic squad, of course, which is needed, I guess, but it's not really needed, depending on, because you can upgrade your infantry sections with medical supplies as well, so they can like put up some medical supplies and heal everybody. Not replenish, but heal. They got the ability where their infantry sections can be upgraded with like flares that they throw, and your headquarters will actually barrage the place you flare. Very good. Very, very good to be able to do that early game. They can be upgraded with weapon racks where you can get the Bren guns on your infantry. You can get Piats, like a decent anti-tank weapon. Does a fair amount of damage against vehicles, but it often misses and it has a short range, which is the problem with that. But yeah, they can increase their infantry section size with one squad member. They have very good commanders in the sense that they have a lot of different tools. Like they have sort of para droppers, paratroops. They have the commandos that can like be deployed from buildings, or they can deploy like a glider, which is like a headquarter for the commanders and other units. Depending if you take that commander, their tanks. You need to upgrade like the hammer or the anvil tactics. Then you will get either the Churchill tank or the Comet tank. The Comet is a faster, more hard hitting, but the Churchill is like more of a heavy tank. They also have let's see, can't really remember if it's the M10 tank destroyer. They also have they have the Sherman. They always have the Sherman Firefly, right? There's something I'm missing here. I can't really remember. There's some tank or something I'm missing there in the latest headquarters upgrade. The Sherman Firefly can be upgraded with tulip rockets, which are very good because they can stun enemy vehicles. They hit. It's an expensive ammunition upgrade, but it's very useful because once you got it, you can. Oh wait, they probably cost a little bit ammunition to use. I can't really remember exactly, but the thing is with the British is that they are very, very versatile. They got anti-tank guns as well. I forgot to mention that in their second building, so that's very important. That's very nice to have. Like their infantry sections fight very well when placed in combat. They get like a stat buff in cover. I mean, so in like yellow cover they're good. In green cover they're very good. They have hard hitting rifles. At least it sounds like that, like the Lee Einfield or whatever it's called. And as I mentioned, they can be upgraded with a lot of stuff. And depending on commanders, you can actually upgrade them with the Vickers guns as well, like a super rapid fire light machine gun sort of thing. And the thing with the British is, I believe that they are, in fact, so well-rounded, and like their fortifications is so strong. So if played correctly, they can be super ultra mega strong. They got the Bren carrier as well in the early game, which can be upgraded with a Wasp flamethrower or a Vickers machine gun, and it's a very useful tool for like flanking weapon squads. It can also transport one squad member as long as it's not upgraded with any of the weapon upgrades I just mentioned, the flamethrower or the other one. But like, they are so strong and have so many abilities that can be used. Like they can attack, use the artillery, you know, the flare that I mentioned with the infantry, bomb stuff that are defending, push forward with some support from your machine gun, have your infantry, some squads of infantry, make use of the cover, maybe an armored car mid game, or maybe you go for the Bofors placement and just cap like a victory point, put your placement down there. Of course, this is not as viable in single player to like try to build fortifications and defend the whole map. That's gonna be impossible. But you don't need to do that. You can just play very offensive, equip your units with a lot of anti-infantry weapons. Just use a wide variety of units. Get tanks early. Like their Sherman Firefly is very good against tanks. It has like a 75mm cannon or something. It does a huge amount of damage to enemy tanks. Not that much armor itself, but yeah, it's good. And with the tulip rockets, if you place them correctly, shoot them and aim them well, very good. And like with some commanders, holy fuck, they can be good. Like the commander squad is super nice. The land mattress is nice. The crocodile Churchill tank, fucking lovely. The AVRE Churchill tank, that blows up a lot of stuff. It can auto kill some vehicles. It can obliterate grouped squads that are placed close to each other. Absolutely demolish anti-tank guns and so forth, while at the same time being pretty well defended in its Churchill chassis, which is like super well armored. So I'm actually gonna place the British up here in the holy fuck category, because I truly believe if you have you don't even need the best commanders. If you just have the basic faction, if I would compare this faction to all other factions, it will be up there probably. You could make some cases that it's not supposed to be in the top tier, in the holy fuck bracket, in the S tier, but like actually I think it deserves that place. They are so good. They can be so well used. They are good in single player, they're good in multiplayer. They have strong tanks, they have strong infantry. They have good abilities on their infantry. They have good mid-game fortifications, armored car to just kite enemy, keep them on their toes, attack their weapon teams before they even have anti-tank, you know. Maybe they get that tank, but then you just fucking pull away with your vehicle because it's so fast, and just fucking attack them with the infantry and your artillery barrages and so forth. Yeah, so they're up there. They're up there. I like them a lot. Maybe this will change in the future, but this is my tier list from the moment being. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Maybe you don't agree with me. You can comment down below what your tier list would be. Rate them maybe according to this list, or just S tier, A tier, whatever you usually use, and just comment down below what you think, in what order they should be. Yeah, so this is just my personal opinion. As I mentioned, it might change in the future, but right now this is how I believe they should be rated, the factions. No faction is bad. They're all good, but some factions are pretty strong. So that's gonna be it for that video. Thanks guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed this one, and see you in the next one. Bye.
Gaming, sit down, enjoy some gaming. Chill out and stop the flaming. When work's been tough, stressful and draining, enjoy some Baverhoid gaming. Whoa.